Hey guys, the Wood Craftsman here. In this video series, I'm going to be working with some products from Aqua Coat. Aqua Coat, if you're not familiar with them, they're a company based in the United States out of Illinois, and they actually strictly make waterborne or water-based products all the way up from a quart size up to a 55-gallon drum. They are set up to supply commercial shops if needed. So it's a company that strictly deals in waterborne or water-based products. Now, as far as waterborne, water-based, I don't really know as far as how they define theirs. Talking to some people, there are some differences. So throughout this video, I'm going to refer to them as WB products, waterborne, water-based. I'm just going to call them WB. Got a quart of the Cognac stain and a gallon of the satin lacquer. As far as packaging wise, I really like the fact that they use a plastic jug for the stains versus using a lined metal can like a lot of other companies do. What I like about plastic is there's no coating on there that you can scratch and actually create an issue where you actually start corroding, unlike a metal can where it's got a lining. Even taking a screwdriver and opening up the metal can, you can actually scratch that lining. If you get some of the coating on there with the water and everything, actually start to corrode and rust. So waterborne products, I am a true believer that plastic is kind of better than a lined metal can, but every manufacturer has their reasons as far as why as to what they use. The finish is actually packaged in a 1-gallon jug. Now, again, it's plastic, but the only disadvantage I ever see to a 1-gallon jug in something that is not completely homogeneous is settling. This actually did settle a little bit, and I was actually able to get it into suspension again. All I was ended up doing is using a long stick, kind of scraping the bottom in that low valley, kind of making sure I get it all freed up, and then shake it up really good. It actually went into dispersion really well back into suspension. It was still one of those things though that it was kind of a drawback to using a jug versus a plastic pail. Now there might be reasons as far as why, it might be shipping reasons, whichever, but that's really the only drawback that I didn't like about using a plastic jug versus a pail. Other than that, I'm going to be finishing 2 doors. I've got a birch and an oak 5-piece flat panel door. I'm going to use this stain on and this finish. Reason I have 2 is one's an open grain and one's a closed grain. So I want to see as far as how oak reacts as an open grain and how something like birch that's a closed grain, how it reacts to the stain and the finish. The stain I'm going to be spraying on with this Husky HVLP gravity feed spray gun. I'm going to be spraying the stain on a nice saturated coat, and then I'm going to be wiping it off with just some ordinary shop towels. The finish, I'm actually going to be applying 2 coats as a self-seal using the Kremlin 1014 air-assisted airless air mix system, using probably a 12 thousandths orifice size. Fluid pressure yet to be determined. So, alright, so that's going to be this video series. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Questions and positive comments are welcome. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Okay, so what you didn't get to see was my camera had died, so you didn't get to actually see me finish spraying these and wiping these. But wiping the stain was really no different than the back. It wiped actually very clean very quickly. It didn't leave a residue like a traditional solvent stain where it kind of keeps smearing around. This actually wiped off very quickly. I will give it a lot of credit for that. It just seemed to be that it laid up on the surface the way it was supposed to. I came across with just a cheap shop towel. This is just something I get from my hardware supplier. It's called Super Tough. It's no different than the shop towels you can buy at the big box store. For the most part, they're lint free. Here is the oak one as well. So kind of the one thing that kind of surprised me a little bit was in some previous waterborne testing with other manufacturers, it seemed to be that the stain would be a little bit more blotchy and uneven when it was wet, but as it was dry, it'd actually be a lot more uniform. And kind of looking at the back as well here, I don't really see that so much on the birch, so that could just be something different in the chemistry of what I've seen with some other tests I've done with different companies in the past. Is this unattractive? I don't know, it's hard to say. It really depends on what your expectations are. Again, this is first impression out of the can. The only thing I did in preparation for these doors is I did sand these up to 180 grit. So that's actually one more than what I normally do. If I would have taken them to 220, maybe this would be less noticeable, I'm not sure, but it is what it is. These have been sitting now for about an hour and a half, so I just want to insert this clip because, as you saw, my camera had died, so you didn't actually get to see the front being on this. So the next step is I'm actually going to apply the first coat of the Aqua Coat Water Base or WB Lacquer. I'm going to do the backs on both of these doors first, and then we'll flip them over when they're dry and spray the front with the first coat.